Hi, my name is Barb Nyland, and I have an amazing God story to share today. This totally incredible God story begins the summer of 1965 when my late husband Steve and I started dating. I was entering my senior year of high school, and Steve was entering his sophomore year of high school. We stayed together the entire year dating, and the summer I graduated, we got pregnant. The decision to release the baby for adoption was made pretty much from the get-go with the encouragement and support from both sets of parents. A son was born to us on May 27, 1967, one day before Steve's 17th birthday. 5 days after he was born, I signed the adoption papers and we moved on with our lives. 5 years after that, Steve and I got back together, married, thinking that we would have more children. About 8 years into that marriage, I suffered from an ectopic pregnancy, only to learn that my chances of conceiving again were slim to none. Very devastating news, especially when you have out there somewhere your only biological son. So we proceeded, in spite of that, we proceeded with adoption through Bethany Christian Services. And on September 14, 1984, we brought home our son, Court. Life was good. We were happy. The years rolled by. But you never stop thinking, wondering about that son of yours out there. Where is he? What does he look like? Personality traits, abilities, talents, gifts, interests. And when he turned 50, Steve and I pretty much resigned ourselves to the fact that we probably would never have the opportunity to meet him. But God, in his infinite wisdom and his redeeming mercy, love, and grace, had a different plan already in the making. July of 2019, we received a letter from a confidential intermediary from Bethany Christian Services looking for both of us and the use of the adoption agency used in 1967. Steve said, well, maybe the family wants medical records. Something has happened. I said, no, he's searching for us. And indeed he was. The next day we called and said yes to that search. And thus began the new chapter in our lives, being reunited with our biological son. His name is Jim. He lives in Virginia with his wife, our daughter-in-law, and our 20-year-old granddaughter. So first came a beautifully handwritten letter and pictures from Jim, and Steve and I reciprocated likewise. Then it came time to share this news with our families, starting with our son Court, who never knew about Jim. Long story short, the news was received with overwhelming joy and excitement and affirmation. So we were very relieved with that. Then came the first phone conversation with Jim, our daughter-in-law Ruth, and our granddaughter Casey. Jim wanted to know what to call us. We said, whatever you decide. He decided on Mom Barb and Dad Steve, and that worked for us. So we made the plan to stop in Virginia in December on our way to Florida to meet. Well, let's back up to October. The first weekend in October, I went to Ohio for a concert on Friday night. I came back Saturday afternoon, walked into my house, and there in my kitchen stood our son Jim, our daughter-in-law Ruth, and our granddaughter Casey. Steve and Jim had planned that trip completely without my knowledge. You would never have known that we had only known each other for, a little over 2 months. Steve and I planned to stop in Virginia early December on our way to Florida, and we spent a wonderful day with Jim and Ruth, and sadly, that was the last time Jim and his birth dad, Steve, were together in person. March 18, 4 days before Steve passed away, Jim's mom passed away. So his grief journey was extremely difficult. We know that in all things, God works for good to those who love him. His faithfulness has been with us for this entire journey. And we are just looking forward and so excited to see what God has in store for us as this story moves on. About the third phone conversation Jim and I had following the death of his mom and his birth dad, the last thing he said to me was, "It's no more Mom Barb, but Mom."